All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Shmuel ben Yosef Dova Cohen, B'schos the Refuah Shalema Bekarov Mishalom ben Sarachel, and Miriam Bas Sarah. Today, we are on one of almost the last days of the third round of Shaar HaBitachon. We're soon going to be starting it all over again with more content that I look forward to adding. But today, we are on page 402 in the Ora Vigdor, for those who are following along. And today, we are going to talk about the final piece to Bitachon that Rabbeinu Bachya finishes off Shaar HaBitachon with. The final piece he talks about, every single person that you know has Bitachon. But Bitachon, in reality, is broken into 10 levels. And what he means by saying that everyone has Bitachon, it doesn't necessarily mean Bitachon in Hashem, but everyone has some sort of trust in someone or something else. The 10 levels of Bitachon that he's going to teach us is going to show us how we are progressing in our own selves, getting towards fully trusting in Hashem. And it also is going to identify which level each one of us are on. And so the first 5 levels have nothing to do with Hashem just yet. It doesn't bring Hashem into the concepts of even Bitachon, the first 5 levels. The Hashem only starts in the 6th level that Rabbeinu Bachya is going to explain. But today, we're going to explain the first 5 levels of a person. I want you to understand that these first 5 levels is basically, it's a human nature. It's a human way of growth, of recognizing seniority maybe, or perhaps who's in charge. And let's get into that from inside. He starts off. The first level, each one of us is like a newborn baby. A newborn baby relies on his sustenance is from his mother. He nurses from his mother, and therefore, when he's a newborn or she's a newborn, the only thing that they understand is that they are fed by the mother by nursing. That's the first level. The second level is now, the child's perception, they understand a little bit more, and they see that there's a mother there. And if they cry to the mother then is going to take them and is going to feed them from their breast. And so now, the second level, the child starts to realize it's not the nursing that feeds me, it's my mother who decides to feed me. So it must be that my own mother is in charge. That is the second level. Third level is trust in the father. What happens is this child gets a little bit older. He's a toddler now. And now he notices something interesting. He says, my dad, he's gone all day. My mother is home with me the entire day taking care of me. And my father comes home at night and he brings food. And he feeds my mother. And my mother feeds me. Therefore must be that my father's in charge. And now the child's trust has grown to a point of maturity, and where he's starting to recognize that there is even a higher power, so to speak, and that's his father. Now we're moving a little further down the line. Now we're moving, or up the ladder, I should say, right? Rather up the ladder. Now he becomes a teenager, and now he's in the teenage years. We're all rebellious. We all know that we could always do it better than our parents. Our parents don't know what they're talking about. We know the best. And so this child, when he becomes physically stronger and he's ready to use his talent to earn his living, as a craftsman or a merchant or something like that, he now shifts his trust from his father supporting him, right, via his father going to his mother feeding him. Now he's older and he knows better and he knows how to do everything, but he's capable, and so he goes out on his own, and now he says, oh, it's not my father that takes care of me. It's me, myself. Me, myself, and I'm the one who is the one who sustains myself. And nothing that happened to him before, until this fourth level, was because of his ability, because he wasn't born because of his abilities. He wasn't nursed because of his abilities, right? He still needs to understand that just as before, it was only because of the decree of Hashem that all these things happened. So also now, when he's working and earning his own livelihood, the reason that he is successful is not because of his efforts. It's also only because of the decree of Hashem. But we're not there yet. Now, Rabbeinu Bachya over here discusses that, and Rabbi Vigdamel gives those notes. Now, that we need to start understanding those concepts. Because if you think of it on a high level, who really sustained you? Now, they think it was the mother. They think it was first the nursing. Then they think it was the mother. Then they think it was the father. Now they think it's them. But on a high level, because we've already learned this, and on the final pages of Shaar HaBitachon, we know that all this is Hashem putting things into play in the system called cause and effect, betava, and all those fun things. But we're not there yet. So this child now is on his fourth level, and he's out there as a teenager. He's opening up lemonade stands. He gets himself, odd jobs delivering newspapers. Maybe he gets a little older, starts washing cars, whatever it is. He starts making his own money, starts supporting himself. And here's the story told by one of the Hasidim. He says, who had a neighbor who was an expert scribe. He was a sofer, and he supported himself by his suffers. That was his job. That was his livelihood. One day, the sofer tells his neighbor, the scribe, the chassid tells the neighbor, the scribe, Heichin yonecha, how you doing? How's everything? I haven't seen you in a little while. How you doing? The scribe answered, fine. As long as my hand is in good shape, I'm doing great. I'm fine. As long as I'm able to be a cipher, because my hands are writing, I am perfectly fine. I can support myself. That same evening, the cipher's hand was chopped off. And he was never able to write again. This was the punishment that this cipher received from Hashem. Why? Because he put full trust in his hands. When the chassid asked him, how are you doing? He says, as long as my hands work, I'll be fine. We know. It doesn't matter if he had a hand or not. It doesn't matter if he knew how to be a cipher or not. Because all sustenance comes from Hashem Yisbarach and Hashem Yisbarach only. And the lesson is that although a person's hand seems to be doing his work, and here is a metaphor to the hand, but it can be anything. Or it's your business, it's your career, it's whatever it is. You think that that's what's doing the work. We've all learned this. Every one of us on this year. We've come so far, and we know that whatever you do for a living is not the reason you have money. It is absolutely just the way Hashem wants you to go about earning a living, because that is what you need to do. And that is why this cipher was punished. Now, the fifth and final level of Bitachon that we're going to discuss today, that still has nothing to do yet with Hashem, is this boy. Now, when he goes out in the world and he's trying to earn a living, he starts realizing that unless he's panning for gold, which he can do by himself, he needs other people. If he's got to wash cars, he's going to have to find customers who have cars to wash, right? If he's going to start selling stuff, he's going to have to find some customers. If he's going to be looking for a job, he's got to find an employer. All those different things, he starts realizing, wait a minute, I know I have capabilities, I know I have the ability to do stuff, but at the end of the day, I need other people. Because without customers, without employers, without a company, I don't have anything. And so now this boy, this young boy, this teenager starts realizing, now I need other people. It's not me anymore. And again, because we know, and we've learned this already, and we're very well versed, we know that this fifth level of Bitachon is also something that also comes from Hashem. And we need to understand that. But Rabbeinu Bachya over here is pointing these out to make a point, and also to show us that there's growth involved. That you're not going to be on level 10 right away. And Today we're gonna finish with that. That's that fifth one. Tomorrow we're gonna start getting into the sixth one, which talks about Hashem. But high level, we need to understand that as human beings, and we are finishing Bitachon, we've learned the concepts. We have to start internalizing them. We have to realize that we're all on a different level, every one of us. We just need to identify for ourselves which level we're on. When you could identify which level you're on, and you know all 10 levels, now you know where to set the bar. Now you know where the goal is next, right? You know you want to move to the 6th level, to the 7th level, and finally we want to reach that 10th level at some point. But when you don't know where you stand, when you don't do an assessment, right? You need to do a personal assessment. A lot of companies do that today. Then you don't even know where to go with that. So that's what we're doing over here today. And Hashem, hopefully that tomorrow or the day after we'll finish all them. But what we're doing today is that personal assessment to figure out where do we stand on this ladder of these 10 levels of Bitachon. Thank you everyone for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.